But Frank believes that one of the key components for a happy and fulfilled life is having gratitude for the bounties that life has already given us. We sometimes shelve our book of thanks and don't refer to it at all. Today, Frank would like to read some of his book with you. Please join me in welcoming Frank Lardino, Readings from My Book of Thanks. Readings from My Book of Thanks, Frank Lardino.
Good morning, friends.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How many people here think happiness is a choice? How many here think it isn't a choice? I see a maybe over there. An interesting article was written that I read this week, which was perfect for what I'm talking about. A palliative nurse whose career is spent with people in their last days of life made some observations that seem to be common when people are near death or on their deathbed. And he cited these 5 things. Number 1 was, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. And he expands on that. Number 2 is, I wish I didn't work so hard. I am definitely guilty of that. I truly missed my children's growing up. I was there, I was a homebody, but I didn't absorb it. And that one hits home with me. Number 3 is, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. Number 4 is, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. And number 5 is, I wish that I let myself be happier. And this is what this man writes. This is a surprisingly common one. Many did not realize until the end that happiness is a choice. They had stayed stuck in old patterns and habits. The so-called comfort of familiarity overflowed into their emotions as well as their physical lives. Fear of change had them pretending to others and to themselves that they were content, when deep within they longed to laugh properly and have silliness in their life again. When you are on your deathbed, what others think of you is a long way from your mind. I've spent my entire life trying to live and learn, and I do know that happiness is a choice. This here is confirmation for me. My deathbed moment came about 4 years ago, and I've talked about my bro O, and it was when he was diagnosed with cancer. This guy was 48 years old and in prime health. That's when it hit me. What the heck is going on here? So what am I going to do about it was the key. So the first thing I did was take a tally of my life. What has my life been? What has my life meant? And I've been keeping journals of my life since I was a child, well, a teenager. In there, I cite memories, what happens during the day, good times, bad times. So I started reading through these. And I picked up on 2 very important things right away. The first was the importance of writing things down. So many little things happen to us in our lives, so many little tidbits of sunshine and little golden nuggets that we store them in the back of our head and perhaps we never retrieve them again. But when we write them down, it stays there forever. And I often will go back and read those and go, oh yeah, I remember that, and it makes me smile. The other lesson I learned right away from reading through my journals is that every bad time in my life is followed by a good time, without fail. And that's something really interesting to think about. I learned a very, very important life lesson soon after my great awakening came from my father-in-law, John. He was 82 years old and he was diagnosed with brain cancer. And he was a strapping 82-year-old. And if you knew my father-in-law, he was a very strong-willed man. He also was a man of faith. And faith is not injected into you. Faith is done through practice. And every day for his entire life, he would wake up at 4:30 in the morning before the sun rose. He'd read his devotions. He'd read his Bible. He'd make notations in the columns. I contend that he has more notes in the Bible than the actual text of the Bible. That's how in-depth he was. And he practiced his faith every single day, all day. And when he was diagnosed, the doctor said to him, "John, we can do a couple things for you that may prolong your life." And he said, "No, I'm good." Because he knew where he was going. He was full. Through this practice, he knew through his faith, I've already had a good ride and I know where I'm going. Happiness comes largely from positive mental practice. Fulfillment comes from positive mental practice. So with my book here, I continue to read it daily and add to it. I'd like to read a passage in my book that kind of sums up the way I look at my life right now. Bear with me. I have lived a full life. I have lived long enough to understand that life is so short and fleeting. I understand that I've been given the greatest gift in life, the ability to live and learn. I have lived long enough to appreciate all my history, good and bad. I've had the love of a great woman who has stood by me through everything. I have seen my sons grow into good-hearted young men. I have received unconditional love from my family who helped me survive in troubled times. I've had many great friends. I've been able to help and advise many people because God has given me a sound logical mind and a kind heart. I've played hard, worked hard, hurt hard, and still had the resolve to keep going. I have lost loved ones. I've enjoyed nature and fishing, played golf, bowled a 300. I've climbed mountains, run marathons. I've driven fast cars and boats. I have eaten some amazing meals and drank some superb wines. I've cooked many meals and enjoyed when everyone ate them with approval. I've counseled those in trouble. I've coached and been coached. I've played a crazy game of table tennis with my best buddy. I've earned a great living and I have gained respect while I was doing it. I've lived in poverty and luxury. I've seen every great movie. When I wake every morning, I do so with enthusiasm. I have lived long enough to enjoy every moment. I've had a great ride. If I die today, do not grieve for me. I am full. Today, my friends, I want to urge you to think about what you have to be grateful for and go through the motions every day. Have a great holiday.